going to start with 3 sticks of butter. This was salted butter, and it is that Kerrygold butter, so it's a nice quality butter with a very good taste. So we got 3 sticks of salted butter. You can use unsalted if you'd like as well. We're also going to add in 1 full block of cream cheese. And all of this is going to be softened at room temperature. I took all of my ingredients out the night before so that it can be the perfect temperature for incorporating together. I also added in 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. And in hindsight, the next time I probably won't add the vegetable oil because the cake was already so moist. It was just not needed. So that'll be optional, to be honest for you. I'm going to start off mixing it on low just to get all of those butters and cream cheese and the oil all mixed in together. And then I just added some more speed so that I can really get those incorporated into just one nice creamy mixture. Let that go for probably about a minute. Like I said, just want to get it all nice and incorporated and creamy. And that's just before we start adding our sugar, which will be coming up next. I told you this was on medium-high, so you want to turn it down to a low setting at first so that the sugar doesn't go everywhere. And then I'm just slowly adding in 3 cups of granulated sugar. 3 cups of sugar slowly added into my butter mixture. On low speed at first. Once I get it all incorporated, I'm going to go ahead and turn that up to about a medium speed or medium-high speed and let that go for a few minutes to get that all mixed in together and incorporated well. You're going to see me stopping the machine several times throughout this video just to scrape down the sides and scrape the bottom of the bowl. And it's really because you don't want to miss anything. And if you don't do that, you risk a chance of not getting everything incorporated in your mix properly at the proper ratios. So this is one of the first of many scrape downs in this particular recipe. Back on medium-high. And while that's going, we're going to get ready to get our flour mixture together. I've already measured out 3 cups of cake powder. And now I'm adding in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And it's all in my sifter so that we can just sift them all together. I know you're saying, yes, cake flour is already sifted, but I'd like to sift all those ingredients together again, just to create that flour mixture that I desire of that nice fluffy texture. I'm telling you, the sifting makes a difference. Get a nice crumb when you're done with when you sift. So I'm just tapping down the sifter, making sure all of those ingredients get down into the sifter and off the sides of the sifter, back into the bowl there. Perfect. I left a little bit of flour in my other bowl, so I want to get that out as well. And I'll just set that aside for when we're ready for it. But flour mixture is done. And you can see here in the background, I turned my mixture down. It already got really fluffy. It got at least doubled in size or what it was before. I turned it all the way down to the lowest setting so that I can add in 6 eggs. 6 eggs, you want to add them in one at a time. As soon as the first one is finished mixing or incorporated, go ahead and add in the next egg. And you're going to do that until you get all 6 eggs into the mixture. Make sure you turn the mixer down on the lowest setting because you don't want to overmix once eggs are into your batter. All right, we got all 6 eggs in. Quick little cleanup here. And while it's still on the mixer's still on its lowest setting, I want to go ahead and take an opportunity to scrape down the sides. So I'm going to take it off the paddle attachment and I'll take the bowl off because it's easier that way, off the stand, and scrape down the sides scrape down the bottom, just get it all mixed together. Make sure everything's incorporated. That should be. You see the mixture is a little bit grainy right here, so you know it hasn't quite incorporated well. But at the end, you'll see that it turns nice and silky. All right, back on the mixer and back on a low setting. While that's going, we're gonna go ahead and get our flour mixture ready and add that in. I just usually spoon it in, 1 spoonful at a time, just to make sure it gets mixed in, and add it in at a good pace, but not super fast, but not super slow. You want to make sure it gives an opportunity for your batter to get all incorporated. As I get down to the end of the adding the flour, I am going to also add in 1/3 cup buttermilk. Almost at the end there. Now we're going to go ahead and add in that 1/3 of a cup of buttermilk. I just like how it makes the batter taste, makes the cake taste. So 1/3 cup of buttermilk, and then we'll just go ahead and dump in the rest of the flour because we were almost done adding it anyway. Let that go for a few seconds, and you already know what we're going to do next. Yep, we're going to scrape down the sides of the bowl. Take it off the mixer, scrape down off the paddle attachment, and then scrape down that bowl one more time so that everything gets incorporated. That's looking good. So back on the mixer for one final mix on low, the lowest setting again. I want to go ahead and add in my extract. This is going to be about 1/2 teaspoon of butter emulsion, and then a full teaspoon of vanilla extract, real vanilla extract, not imitation. It just gives it a better taste. Let that mix for a few seconds, and after that, our batter is done. Of course, I'm just trying to get it off of every crevice possible. Clean off that paddle attachment. Just think of it as any batter left behind is one less bite of cake that you could have had. So I make sure and get all of the batter off as much as possible before I end this mixing session. And as you can see here, we are left with a very silky, velvety textured batter. That's what you want after you're getting everything incorporated well. You just want a nice silky batter, and that's going to make for a very nice crumb to your cake. All right, so now time to prep the pan, and I like to use this Pam baking spray. It is just really, really good. I used to use cake goop that I would make, but this Pam baking easy release, oh yeah, it really is one of the best. And you want to use it liberally, don't be shy. Get that pan scraped every nook and cranny, sprayed every crooked nook and cranny, so that we can make sure our cake comes out at the end. Nothing more sad than doing all of this work and baking a cake and it not coming completely out clean at the end. It's so disheartening. And so I'm just adding my batter now to the pan. Usually do it in about thirds with a third turn each time so that I can get the batter into the pan. If the batter was looser, like my red velvet cake or my green velvet cake, I could just pour it all in one spot and it'll do the right thing. And I don't have to worry about getting the batter everywhere. But this one is of a thicker batter. So, like I said, the third turn of getting it all in there is good. As you can see, that it's taking me a while to get it out of there, because with all of that scraping down of the bowl, guess what? I still had a very, very small pocket at the very bottom of the bowl that didn't get incorporated. So I'm just taking an opportunity to mix that together with some batter to get it all in there. And then I just crossed my fingers and hope that it didn't make a huge difference. So every morsel of batter is coming out of this pan. I'm scraping the sides, and I just want to make sure, like I said, every bit of batter comes out of the bowl and into the pan. If I didn't mention it, this is my Nordic Ware 18 cup bundt pan. Granted, this is not going to be a super tall cake, but I like using this bundt pan because I don't have to worry about overflow. I don't have to worry about should I use a 12 cup or should I use a 10 cup or a 15 cup. This 18 cup 18 cup capacity pan by Nordic Ware, it handles pretty much any batter you can throw at it. Right now I'm just smoothing it in, making sure that it's nice and level, all the way out to the edge, all the way to the inside. Just making sure that it's all, like I said, flat and level and smooth. So, however you leave your top at this point is pretty much going to be affected at the cake. So at the end, so I like to make it as smooth as possible. Giving it a few jiggles and then taps on the counter. I want to make sure you tap your cake batter. That way you'll get all the air bubbles out. And then I'm just drawing a line in the top just so I can make sure I have that nice circle at the end. Totally, you don't have to do this. This is totally optional. I'm just doing the most as per usual. And into a 325 degree preheated oven for about 55 minutes. While that's in the oven, I want to go ahead and make my sugar glaze. What's going to be 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup water, and 1 teaspoon of real vanilla. And that's going to be the sugary glaze that we're going to add to our cake once it comes out of the oven. And you're going to cook this mixture on the stove on about a medium heat until it starts to get bubbly and foamy. So you're going to take this mixture, these 4 ingredients, put it on the stove, medium heat, stirring constantly, and at the end you see it starts foaming, but the butter does not get a chance to brown. So don't let your butter brown or don't let it burn. You want to just get it a nice foamy texture, and then you'll know that you're done once it starts foaming up. Make sure, like I said, you were stirring it the whole time while it was on the stove, and then you end up here this nice foamy mixture that is very loose, and honestly, it's really delicious. See that nice consistency? That's what you want. Super loose. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I want to put this into a measuring cup since we're going to be pouring it on the cake once the cake's out of the oven. So I just put it into a measuring cup to make it easier for the pour. And don't worry, I'm going to get that foamy goodness, all that nice butter mixture. I'm going to get it out of the pan off camera. All right, our cake's out of the oven. It took about 55 minutes. And I'm just going to use a chopstick, to make the holes in the cake. You want to poke holes all over the cake. And I just think the chopstick is a good size, so I don't put a huge hole in the cake, but it's not super thin like a toothpick, and it goes all the way. I can get all the way down to the bottom, so a chopstick was a perfect item for me to use to poke the holes. You can use a wooden skewer, because that would have been my next choice. But whatever you can use just to make some holes into the cake, so perforation size into the cake so that you can get that nice yummy glaze into every bit of it. Once you get your holes, then you just pour it on. You just pour it everywhere, the sides, the middle, everywhere in the cake. Try not to miss any spots so that you have some consistency, but yeah, pour it on. Once you're done pouring it on, you should let your cake cool in the pan for a minimum of like 30 minutes. And some people have had it cool up to an hour. I'm way too impatient for that, so I let it cool for like 20 minutes. And then I was all about getting it flipped and ready. I wanted to eat this cake, so I let it rest for about 20 minutes and came back and did the flip. As you can see, a perfect release, just like Pam said it would be. And now I'm going to add a quick glaze. My kids wanted a glaze on the cake, so I did a quick glaze with a cup of powdered sugar, a few tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And it literally does not matter how you put it on the cake. Right here, I was going for like a swirly pattern, but by the end, I honestly just smoothed it all out and made it one consistent layer, so it really doesn't matter how you put it on. Just, get it on the cake. And this was a nice thick consistency, so it really depends on how much heavy cream you put in there, the texture you get. And then, as you can see here, our slice, you can already see it's super moist. Oh, so soft. Delicious cake with a very nice crumb. And you can see there the crumb texture is really good. Super soft. You got to try this